Good morning, all souls. Pastor Will here again, outside of my house this time, as an encouragement for you to get outside some too. Being quarantined here at home, you need to get some fresh air. So get outside, enjoy some of this beautiful day. It's a little chilly, but it's nice and sunny. So my encouragement to you, get outside some, get some fresh air. But that's not why I'm making this video. I'm making it because I want to continue in encouraging you with what God has to say about fear. This whole week we've been talking about how God goes out of his way, actually 365 times in Scripture, to tell us not to fear, one for every day, because he knows that that's going to be the one thing that we're going to struggle with the most, fear. One of my favorite passages in all Scripture is Isaiah chapter 43, where God promises his people that he's going to be with them. He says, when you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and the waves will not overcome you. Do not fear, for I am Yahweh. I am the Lord your God. His promise is to be with his people no matter what happens, and it's an echo back to what they actually already had lived through nearly 1,000 years before that, when God took his people out of slavery in Egypt and brought them through the event called the Exodus, where he brought them through the Red Sea, this ocean that he parted, and they walked through on dry land. Talk about an experience that they would remember, that they would tell their children and their children's children and their children's children's children. They would tell for generations, our God did this. And if our God could do that, what do we have to fear? If he could take us out of slavery in Egypt and bring us into the promised land like he promised, what do we have to fear? God makes this same promise to his people through the prophet Isaiah. And then 700 years after Isaiah, we see God put on skin and walk amongst us, named Jesus, which literally means Yahweh saves, the God who saves. And Jesus, twice in his earthly ministry, does something that would have grabbed the attention of his Jewish listeners. He finds himself in the middle of a storm at sea. And he brings his people out of the storm. One time, Jesus is actually in the boat. He's asleep. He's so at peace, even in the middle of the storm. And he wakes up and he speaks, and the waves listen. And those in the boat with him say, who is this, that even the wind and the waves obey him? Another time, Jesus sees his disciples off in a boat in the Sea of Galilee, and the waves are crashing down on them, and he walks on the water and gets in the boat and again speaks, and the wind and the waves listen to him. Who is this, that even the wind and the waves obey him? It's only the one who made them. Jesus is declaring, and in fact does declare, when he's in the boat and when he's walking on the water, he says this to his disciples, do not fear. Don't be afraid. Why? Because he says, I am. That's his response. I am. Or to put it differently, he says, Yahweh. Jesus is declaring that he came to be the God who promised to always be with us, no matter what storm. And not just to be with us, but as Lord over the storm, to be our security. So what is the encouragement that God has for us today? That I am, the great I am, put on skin to come and enter into the mess with us. And his promise is to always be with us. Do not fear. I am with you. My prayer for us today, my friends, is that we will know, we will see, we will experience the presence of God with us today, and that will not just take our temperature down and make our blood pressure lower. It will give us eyes to see that if he is for us, who can be against us? For even the wind and the waves obey his voice. God bless you today.